So I am really grateful to be here. I want to thank Reverend Darling because this is what I know. If a minister invites you on their pulpit, they trust you with their family. So I'm very grateful and very honored to be here. My topic today is creating the best year of your life. You know, January comes and we are all on fire, right? We're going to have the best year ever. How many of you came into January that way? How's it going? Well, here's the thing, you know, in January, gym registrations zoom. And then in March, they're back down again. They have your money, though. I just want you to know this. The thing is that you have to know, actually you have to remember that you're an original blessing, that you're here by a divine appointment, that you're here because Spirit loved you so much, it breathed its life into you for you to be here. You are a masterpiece in the making. It's not always easy to remember that. Ernest Holmes said that we are inlets and outlets for God. And Charles Fillmore said, our job is to practice living this delicious, joyous life, because then that is how Spirit brings its energy and resources into our mind and into our world of affairs. The interesting thing about that is that there's a lot of stuff going on the planet, in case you didn't notice, right? I mean, we got leaders flipping out all over the world. We got, terrorists. We got all this stuff, and it's easy to get distracted, isn't it? It's easy to just put all your attention over there on all this stuff and forget that you are the conduit through which Spirit moves. You are the way through which Spirit expresses. Without us, there would be no way for Spirit to express. So we are the vessels. That's the good news. The interesting news is that we go to sleep, right? There's not a doubt in my mind that some of what's going on the planet is because we went to sleep. We got apathetic. And we thought, oh, they'll handle it for us. Now we're not thrilled, but we participated in that. So what I want to tell you today is 3 things to create the best year of your life. Because I think even if it's not looking like that today, we today can pick something new. We can do it differently. So the first thing I want to tell you is to answer the call. I coach people all over the world, and a lot of people come and they go, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my call is. And I'm like, first of all, your purpose lives within you. It's not something you're going to find. The call, there's a bunch of them. There's not some lightning bolt that's going to strike and you're going to be enlightened. It's that you're going to step by step awaken and remember and choose again to stay awake, step by step. Everything that has happened to you has brought you to this moment. So I'm going to tell you my life. I have been a car hop, and I know that dates me. I have been a flight attendant. I've been an opening act for people. I've been an actress. I've been a trainer in corporate America. I worked in media management for one of the largest media management companies in the world. I've done all this stuff, but what I know is it all led me to this path called ministry, to this path called coaching that I am today. And what I want you to know, though, is that the information of your calling doesn't just come in with a big boom. You know that still small voice? It really is still and small. Last night we were having dinner, and Darlene was telling me about the many ways and times that she's been called. and that she had to listen and learn to listen to that inner call. Because here's what the call does. It takes you to new places, to new jobs, to new relationships. It teaches you that sometimes you can be sent someplace thinking it's one thing, but it's really something else, and bring somebody new to you to take your life in another trajectory. You know what I'm talking about? Thank you so much. The amen corner, I love that. So the call, though, is that you have to learn to listen, and that takes your spiritual practice. That's what takes you to another level. So there's an actor named David Oyelowo, and became famous actually in the last few years playing Martin Luther King in a movie. But this is what's interesting about him. He comes from Nigerian parents. He was born in England. And he's gone to the London Academy of Music and Arts and Drama, and he gets all these awards, but he hears what he defines as a spiritual experience, that he's going to play Martin Luther King. And it makes no sense, right? So he goes to Los Angeles, he hears it again. He's like, okay. So now they're going to do a Martin Luther King movie. So he goes in, and the director says, I just don't see you as Martin Luther King. And he's like, God, what, you know? So he goes out, and he's like confused, right? Well, that director gets fired. A new director comes in, Lee Daniels, who did the Butler movie, right? He auditions, Lee Daniels loves him, he gets the part, and then Lee Daniels leaves to go do the Butler. So he's like, God, what is up with this, right? And then he gets still, and this is what happens. He understands in that moment that he's the one that's to create this. So he takes the script and somehow, miraculously, gets to Oprah Winfrey and Brad Pitt, who produced the movie, and the rest is history. What I want you to know is that there's no map that comes with the still small voice. It drops in, it tells you what to do, and then it says wait. And how many of you are great at being patient? It's going, yes, I'm gonna support you, I'm gonna nurture you, I'm gonna guide you, but you have to do your work, and you have to trust, and you have to be anchored in faith. And that gets a little scary, doesn't it? But David was relentless. He was clear what he was called to do, and he trusted that that message was real, and he was just to do one step, one foot in front of the other. That's what you're called to do. But first you have to understand that the messages of the universe are always pouring forth. You got to get still enough to listen. Then you got to let go. Let's talk about surrender, shall we? Is there anybody in this room who struggles with resistance? Yes, right? So what I want you to know is that the definition of surrender, it's like, in spiritual terms, it's giving your will and your desires and your needs over to divine will. It can also mean, surrendering, out of stress and duress. And it also can mean ceasing to resist. I'm a Trekkie. And remember when Jean-Luc is there and they're saying resistance is futile, right? It's true. It's like Spirit will wait on you as long as you want to push, as long as you want to flail, as long as you want to fight. But the truth is, your surrender is what opens the doorway, is the portal for your transformation. So, in surrender, I would love to tell you that I was born enlightened. But it's been quite a journey. I come from a family, there was a lot of struggle, a lot of violence. My biological father was an alcoholic. My stepfather was a wife beater and a pedophile, and there was all this craziness. And in the meantime, everybody's talking about God, and we're going to the African Methodist Episcopal Church, right? And I am confused. And so I learned to survive. I learned to push through. I learned to be an independent soul. So here I am, I finally end up in Centers for Spiritual Living, which was religious science at the time, and Michael Beckwith is my teacher, and I'm feeling like, okay, I got this down. And then I go through training, and then I get invited to go to Denver to be an associate minister with Dr. Roger Teal. And it's a big community, and there's a lot going on. And I was really happy. I was working with women, the GLBT community. I was working in the music ministry. I was teaching and speaking. Life was really good. And all of a sudden, I'm tired. But because I learned to push through as a kid, I'm just going to push through it, right? And I'm getting more tired and more tired. So finally I say, okay, I'm going to go see a doctor. I've had my physical 6 months ago, but I'm going to go see what's going on. And so I go and have all these tests, and I come back, and the doctor says, sit down. Yeah. When the doctor says sit down, it's probably not great news. So he says, see this number here? I go, yes, what is that? He said, your adrenals are about to fail. I go, well, what do I do? He said, quit your job. I go, I can't quit my job. I'm a minister. You don't quit God, right? So he says, quit your job, quit your life. I'm like, whoa. So then I decide to negotiate with God. So I tell God, okay, I'm going to cut back. So I go to Dr. Roger, and I say, Dr. Roger, this is what's happening. I show him the paper and all this stuff, and I go, so I'm going to cut back just on my hours until I can get, this adrenal thing fixed. And he says, okay, let's talk about this tomorrow. I said, okay. So he comes in my office, and he goes, you are playing with fire. You are not cutting back. You're taking a sabbatical. I'm going, no, I can't take it. He goes, yes, you are. You're taking a 3-month sabbatical. So for 3 months, I'm off. And this is the first thing I learned. I didn't know how to be still. I've been meditating for 40 years, but nothing to do because I defined myself by what I did and what I could create. That's how I looked at myself. So I'm sitting at home, looking out at the trees. I live in the mountains, right? So I'll meditate, and then I think, oh, I've been really here for a long time, and it's 10 minutes. And then I realized that I had to have a deeper relationship with God. I had to, how about practicing what you preach? I had to go in a way I had never done before. Now that was really good news, but here's the interesting part. So I go back to work, and I tell God, I'll ease in, and it's all going to be good. And then I start feeling this stuff in my solar plexus, and there's a mind-body connection. I mean, that's what I teach. And all of a sudden, that's the power center, and I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm getting more uncomfortable, right? And I'm hearing, you're done here. I'm like, oh, no, that can't be right. No, everything's good. I'm happy, right? I said, okay, we'll wait. So as time went on, I'm getting more and more uncomfortable. Nothing's wrong. Nobody's doing anything to me. There's nothing bad that's happening. But I am getting very grumpy. And I keep hearing it's time to leave. And my husband, who's a practitioner, says, maybe God's trying to tell you something? I'm like, oh, yeah, but it can't be that, right? So at Christmas, we have these 6 candle lighting services, right? Every time I would walk on the stage, my stomach would constrict a little more. And I'm like, I don't understand this. After the 6th one, I walk off the stage, I walk behind the curtain, and a voice very loud says, you are done here. So I have a meeting with Roger. I go, I need an exit strategy. He goes, what? Where are you going? I don't know. What are you going to do? I don't know. Are you going to start a church? No. Are you going to another church? No. Well, what are you going to do? I don't know. And he said, do you know that sounds crazy? I was like, yes, I do. But I have to go. I'm done here. So then I'm being told, get an office, and I had no clients. So these two people were looking for a suite mate, so I joined them. And I remember that Joel Goldsmith got an office and went in there and prayed and meditated for days. And by the time he left the planet, he was seeing like 30 people a day for 10 minutes. I didn't want that many clients, but I was willing to like pray and open, right? So what I want you all to know is, in the 3 years that I've been gone, because I still am a special ministry there, I still speak there and teach there sometimes, but in the 3 years, I went to a leadership program. I have clients from all over the world. In my office on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I see them. Wednesdays, I do virtual. I travel all over the world. I take people on pilgrimages, and I am making 3 times the amount of money I made as a minister. But you know, God didn't tell me that was going to happen first. So you have to listen. And then here's the deal. You have to commit. That's a big one, isn't it? It's like you have to jump in. You know, Darlene was telling me about being in Maui and being told she was supposed to go someplace else without instructions. There was no manual. And she had to just say yes, and that's the deal. You commit by saying yes, and then the goodness outpours. But you got to trust, and that's where your spiritual practice comes in. So I wrote, my latest book is called I Choose Me, The Art of Being a Phenomenally Successful Woman at Home and at Work. And I wrote it because a lot of women follow me. And a lot of them struggle with taking care of themselves and putting themselves first. How many of you in here are caregivers on some level or another? Mm-hmm. And how many of you put yourself first? That would be 0. Okay. Because here's the thing. We're told to be guilty if we put other people first. A shame on you for wanting to do you first. But this is the deal. There's all kinds of evidence, even scientifically based, that when you take care of yourself first, you raise the vibration of you internally and externally. So your caring for yourself is major. Today, I'm 35 pounds lighter than I was 4 years ago. Because I decided, how am I going to teach this if I don't do it? And I'd love to tell you I love going to the gym, but no. But here's the deal. I love being healthy. I love that there is natural aging and there is decay. I choose natural. So this afternoon we're going to do in the workshop, we're going to talk about creating the best year of your life from a point of view, where are you now? Where do you want to be? How do you absolutely understand and embody that you are important, that you belong, that you're essential, that without you there would be a hole, that you're here by an appointment that needs to be addressed. You know, we're the ones we've been waiting for, right? There is nobody out there that's going to do it for us and make it all better. We make it better. And so what I want you to know is that the call within you, whatever the current call is, listen, go in, understand it, embody it, embrace it. The second thing is then you have to surrender your need to control. Because that been working for you? You have to let it go. And then you have to commit. You have to commit to your relationship with God, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with the earth, your relationship with all the people here, because that inclusivity thing that's part of the message here is real. We are interconnected. All these people that I take all over the world, people want to be loved, they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be nurtured, they want to be held, they want to make a difference. And that's exactly what you're called to do, to make a difference. So I'm going to invite you to move into prayer. Richard, I'm going to ask you to come up. And I'm going to ask you to uncross your legs, uncross your arms. Make sure your back is straight. And I want you to connect to your heart. Heart Math Institute tells us that the heart is intelligent. It is the first place that you can measure intelligence in an embryo, and it informs the brain. And so I'm going to invite you to just breathe in very slowly, like maybe to the count of 5 into your heart, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. And begin to recognize that right here in this room, your heart is connected with every other heart. That your breath is connected with every other breath. And as you expand that knowingness, our hearts are connected to everyone else in this whole Asheville area, in the whole of North Carolina, in the whole of this United States. Across the waters to every nation. Every city, every town, every village. One breath, one God. And so from this place, I invite you to just join me in prayer. And so we step into the awareness that right here where we are, God is. That there's an energy, an essence, a truth, a light, and a love that is flowing. It is a harmonic convergence. We breathe it in. And we remember that that energy and that life and that intelligence is my life and the life of everyone here. It is the life of everyone on this planet. And so in this moment, we breathe in the reality that there is a united consciousness that is flowing here. And from that place, we are so clear and so open and so available and so expanded in the awareness that the answer is yes. Yes to love, yes to life, yes to abundance, yes to freedom, yes to clarity. The answer is yes. And the internal yes corresponds with the universal yes, and something explodes into conscious awareness that is powerful and power-filled. And so we just give thanks in this moment that there is nothing outside of God, nothing opposing God ever. And so any old ways of being, old paradigms, old feelings, old ways of being simply dissolve in this moment to create space for the divine nature to reveal itself in every thought, every word, every deed, every action, because we are the inlet and the outlet. We give thanks. We give thanks that whatever the current reality, we get to co-create with Spirit the best year of our life. Really, we breathe that in. We breathe it in. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. And so in this moment we give thanks. We give thanks that that still small voice is rising in our awareness so that we are listening from a deeper, more powerful, more expanded space. We place on the altar of light all the things that no longer serve us, and we stand in the awareness that gratitude is a foundation of light, love, peace, grace, and joy. We give thanks in this moment for this community and the ways in which it serves. We give thanks that we are here for God, and that it is beautiful, and it is powerful, and it is extraordinary. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant triumphant, that we rest in God. Say amen. 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 And so it is, and so it is. Amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. And so it is. Amen. Thank you so much.